חברים! ממש מאוד sexy. ממש, how many dale hot chocolate. Oh, you're TikToking too. You're time-lapsing. We have an Israeli. Look, I have my Israeli. I didn't know you were TikToking.
No, I just record videos.
Oh my gosh. This is so exciting. I have my Israeli Defense Force shirt I've been wearing all day. I wasn't even planning this. I have a real-life Israeli in my house making real-life Israeli hot chocolate. How do you say that?
Chocolate.
Chocolate? This is so exciting. He called this Jewish hot chocolate. I didn't. You did. You said that. I was like, oh. Also the mug. Hanukkah. Oy vey. Oh, that's like more like European Jew, but we're all of it. Woo! So sexy. Okay, taste test. Mazel. Oh, it's good. It is.
Tell me that you're not mentally stable without saying, I'm not mentally stable.
So in every house I've lived in, I've had a hoarding room. And when the hoard becomes too much, I move. Let me show you. Hoarding. Hey guys, this is a typical day in the life LA influencer edition. I dressed up in my Free People sweater and my glasses that I actually do need to see and got out of my pink Rolls Royce only to start my morning right. Of course, there's my beauty. I named her Barbie, the Chanel Duval tote, and getting my fix strawberry razzmatazz, and of course having to show my headboard. Definitely got these little critters and the lobster mac and cheese because we are seafood friendly. They don't call me Trish like fish for nothing. The truffle parmesan fries, all of this is from Capitol Grill. We went into Dior to pick up the influencer handbag, which I got and I unboxed already. I had to get this shot because I see everyone on TikTok do it. We went into Louis Vuitton and Gucci, and Louis Vuitton put us in the VIP room, which is why Louis Vuitton is my favorite full outfit here. This was before lockdown. This was a couple weeks ago. We had champagne to celebrate shopping, and now we're back in lockdown, so we can't shop anymore. There it is.
Yeah. I don't want to hear that. Because first of all, how do you know? How do you know that that's true? How do you?
Okay, so this one is for the childhood liars. What was the craziest childhood lie you made up for absolutely no reason other than just to entertain yourself? My biggest one that was ongoing, and then my stupid aunt ruined it for me because she worked at the school and told my mom, but I ultimately believe I manifested it for my dad, was that my dad was really rich. So my dad lived in California, I lived in Illinois, and like a really small town, and just I always went to California to visit my dad, so I'd make up this story that he was like a billionaire, and we had like 5 huge houses, and I'm like, yeah, it's the actual house from like the Beverly Hillbillies, even though probably no one got that reference. I said I had gold tap shoes, and I had a gold stage that I could perform on all the time, and just endless amount of Barbie dolls. And yeah, and I said he had a limo too, and I said he had multiple limos, and basically my aunt found out, told people that wasn't true, but joke's on her, because 5 years later my dad sold his company and was able to retire. So okay, so I want to talk about eating disorders as a fat person. There is nothing more triggering, I'm going to speak to me personally, as a fat person than telling me I'm fat, telling me I'm unhealthy, telling me you're concerned for my health. Because while I appreciate it, and I think a lot of people are good intention, it really triggers me, and it triggers my eating disorder, which makes me feel like I just shouldn't eat. Because I didn't learn proper nutrition, and even now going through recovery of being in an ED program and still not fully grasping it, I just feel like I shouldn't eat. That would solve all my problems. That would solve my health problems. It would solve people stopping people from speculating about my health problems, and it just makes it worse. So think before you fat shame someone, because most of the time, so part 2, fat people with eating disorders. To piggyback on what I just said, when fat people know we're fat. Like, you don't have to tell us. Fat people know we have health conditions, you don't have to tell us. I do put my life online, but like you telling me your shortness of breath, I'm worried for you, like I'm aware. And there's a reason fat people are the way they are. Nobody wants to be unhealthy, period. Like, people want to live a long time. We're not trying to slowly kill ourselves, even if that's how you view it, or if that's how everyone views it. That's just not the case. There's an issue, whether it's psychological, most of it's psychological, but there's a deeper rooted issue, and you just saying you're fat, it doesn't help. And fat people have eating disorders. Part 3 about fat people with eating disorders. The worst part about being fat is you can't quit cold turkey. You can't quit cold food, or you can't quit food cold turkey, like smoking or drugs or anything. Like, you have to eat. Like, you have to eat to survive, to live, to keep your body functioning properly and to keep it healthy. Like, you have to have food. Where in my eating disorder, I just associate not eating with feeling better, not eating with being skinny, not eating with being healthy. If I don't eat, my stomach doesn't feel as tight. If I don't eat, I don't have shortness of breath. I ration with binging as well. I'll get all my calories in one day and just won't eat the rest of the day, and it balances it out. And now I'm healthy. And if people are seeing weight loss, that means I'm healthy, which it's not. Part 4, fat people with eating disorders, and I'm just going to give you the realist example that happened last night. So I'm trying to lose weight for this project I'm doing, and that pretty much involves my usual weight loss plan of just not eating, or eating like something like one little thing a day. But yesterday I didn't eat at all, and dinner time came around, and my boyfriend was like, do you want any food? And I was like, I really don't want any food. He's like, how about a little popcorn? I'm like, I don't want popcorn. How about a drink of like a sip of like Coke or something? And I was like, no, I just don't want to eat. And so anyways, long story short, he orders food and he's like, do you want a bite? And I was like, okay, I'll just take one bite. Like, it's not a big deal. And I ended up eating the whole, like, it was like a chicken strip. Like, he got like 3 chicken strips, and I ended up eating a whole chicken strip. And that's all I had the whole day. And when I tell you, I couldn't have hated myself more after that. Wait, part 5. Like, I literally was up all night thinking how I had one chicken finger that whole day, and how I lack willpower, how I'm undeserving of love, how my body is gonna look terrible for this project that I'm doing, and everyone's gonna talk about how fat I'm getting from eating one chicken finger that probably had 250 calories. Recovery is super hard. I still very much, trigger warning, have an eating disorder. I don't know if I'll ever cure it. I always feel I need to skip meals, because that is what everybody tells fat people, is that you could skip a meal. With my whole scandal of like not giving food to someone who asked whatever, and like she could afford to skip meals, that triggered it all over again, where it's like, I just need to not eat. I just need to not eat until I hate myself so much I'm gonna binge. And that's the reality of it. This one is for the childhood liars. What was the craziest childhood lie you made up? Okay, so I was just, I guess, a pathological liar as a kid, because I had a lot of trauma I was dealing with. But anyways, inspired by a lot of you guys also confessing your lies, I remembered another one of my lies, and it was in the 5th grade, and I said I had a twin, and her name was Trixie, and she lived with my dad in California, and that Trixie was really skinny and pretty, and that she was currently on a Disney Channel show under a different name. And at the time, there was a show called So Weird. So I was like, I was explaining the character of Fiona on the show, if you guys remember Fee, but like without saying too much. And where I was from in Illinois, like people just, they didn't really know about anything. But yeah, it was Trixie, and it was like the Parent Trap in my head. So Trixie went with my dad, and I went with my mom, and I had that lie for a long time. And I don't know if I ever got called that on it, but maybe that's a good liar. This one is for the childhood liars. What was the craziest childhood lie you made up? So on the flip side of this, like obviously we didn't lie all the time if we were childhood liars, and there's a lot of shit that happened that I kept to myself because like I was either told to or I was scared to tell or whatever. But then sometimes I would say things, and here are two things that I distinctly remember telling my parents that they did not believe. My dad, my stepmom would steal random shit from my room, like my Victoria's Secret perfumes and just like random shit. I mean, it could have been like a fairy or something, but I never misplaced it because I didn't have a lot back then. And she was the only one going in and out of my room, and she also didn't like me. And two, one of my mom's boyfriends would steal DVDs, and I used to put money and cash in my DVDs, and my DVDs would go missing. There was obviously way more serious things that I didn't tell my parents, but I remember if they couldn't believe me on that, then they definitely weren't going to believe me on anything else. So don't cry, wolf.